Good morning. It's time for my favorite meal of the day, breakfast. I make the same amazing breakfast every morning for the past 3 years. I know this may seem boring, but this oatmeal smoothie hits every category. It's quick to make, there is no prep work, the total cost is around $3.50 per smoothie, it's healthy, and it keeps me full. So, how do you make this smoothie? I split this video into two sections. The second section covers the ingredients, including which brands, where to buy, and cost. The first section covers the recipe step by step. This is a view I use split into 4 sections. The top left is a running list of the ingredients, starting with a half cup of oatmeal. To the top right is nutrition information and cost. The first column is a category with calories on top, nutrition in the middle, and cost at the bottom. The next column is the current ingredient, which starts with a half cup of oatmeal. The next column is a cumulative roll-up of all ingredients covered, so it currently matches oatmeal. And the last column is the percent of daily nutrition. The bottom left is our counter cam, showing the current ingredient being discussed. Lastly, to the bottom right is the blender cam, showing our progress. Okay, let's get started. As I mentioned, the first ingredient is a half cup of oatmeal. This is uncooked, straight from the box, raw oatmeal. Once you add the oatmeal, keep the measuring cup out for the next 2 ingredients. The second ingredient is 1 cup of 2% milk, which I measure using the same measuring cup from the first step. It's a half cup, so I fill it twice and dump it into the blender. Next, our third ingredient is 1 cup of tap water. Again, I use the same measuring cup, filled twice, and you can see in the picture, the water is murky from the milk. You could use all milk or all water, but after experimenting, I believe this provides the right amount of creaminess and consistency in the end. Okay, moving to the fourth ingredient, I add 1 full scoop of plant-based protein. Then, moving to the fifth ingredient, I add 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. To note, for the peanut butter and the remaining ingredients, I do not measure. However, I wanted to provide nutrition information, so I included an equivalent measurement. I take a scoop that looks like this with a butter knife. Next, our sixth ingredient is 1 banana to add sweetness and a smoothie texture to the smoothie. I intentionally took the photo with the infamous 4011 produce code on full display. I'm assuming anyone watching this video has used this code when buying from the grocery store, no matter where you live, where you shop, or how many years ago you purchased your last banana. Okay, next is the seventh ingredient, which is 1/8 teaspoon or a pinch of salt. And that brings us to our last ingredient, which is 1.5 cups of frozen cherries. I literally dump in straight from the bag. The last step in the process is to blend. I use a BlendTech blender featuring this custom artwork that will not wash off. It has several buttons to make soup, smoothies, and more, but I always use the pulse in the top right. I hold the pulse button for 20 to 25 seconds, and I'm done. Here's a picture showing the end result, which is 34 ounces of deliciousness. Next, I want to take a minute to cover blender cleanup. This can be put into the dishwasher, but it's actually quicker to rinse out the blender and fill to the halfway line with warm water and a couple drops of dish soap. Put the lid back on and hold down pause for 20 seconds, then dump and rinse to complete cleanup. This wraps up the first section of the video. If you are enjoying this video, please like and leave a comment to let me know what you think or if you have any questions. Also, please consider subscribing so I can continue making more videos like this one. Okay, on to the second section. I'm going to run through the recipe again in the same order, and this time I'll share additional detail for each ingredient. First, I buy 5 pounds of oatmeal from Costco for $15.99, which is enough to make 45 smoothies. Next is the liquid, including milk and water. Milk can be purchased from Costco, but I buy organic gallons from our local grocery store, which is enough to make 16 smoothies. To note, I use 1 cup of 2% milk and 1 cup of water. You can tweak the recipe as needed if you have whole milk or skim milk at home. The goal is to end with 2 cups of liquid, The more milk, the creamier the result. Next is protein, which I try to buy the cheapest plant-based protein I can find, which has been Garden of Life protein powder, which costs around $40 and makes 38 servings. I typically use vanilla, but I've also used with chocolate if you want some variety. To note, the container considers 2 scoops as 1 serving, so you can increase if you're looking for more protein. Next, I buy 56 ounces of peanut butter from Costco. I buy this organic Kirkland peanut butter, which is 56 total ounces for $13.99, split between 2 containers. The ingredients are nuts and salt with no extra fillers, which is perfect. Bananas, I buy the cheap, non-organic bananas in our grocery store. I typically don't like eating bananas that are not ripe, but considering they are going to be blended, I throw them in the blender and it works itself out. Next is General Kosher salt purchased from my local grocery store. There are tons of different salt options out there based on your preferences, so feel free to try what works for you. Lastly, I purchase Happy Village Organic Dark Sweet Cherries from Costco. This really keeps the price lower because grocery store frozen fruit is much more expensive. To note, I love fresh and frozen cherries, but I only use frozen cherries in these smoothies. It's so much easier not having to remove pits in the morning when you want a quick breakfast. This wraps up my favorite breakfast smoothie recipe. Please leave me a comment to let me know how this turns out for you, or if you have any questions, and please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching.